Oh no, not the guys. At the beginning of the year, the guy did this thing
It's fine.
for all the freshmen.
It's Mayor Baldwin.
We are live.
What is it?
Now.
Wait, so what is it then? That's funny.
Alright, so I guess we'll go ahead and start. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. So, you guys know why you're here. We're going to talk about like the legislative bills that are going through to the state legislature that are impacting higher education. So, I guess I can just like open it up to you guys. Do you guys have any questions about anything, or do you have any opinions that you want to share? Do you want us to go over anything?
I didn't know what what, are you guys gonna like go over what they are?
Yeah, we can go over which ones that we're focused on.
Okay, yeah, that is sweet.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so first one we can go over. This is the DOR bill tracker. So these are the bills that the Board of Regents is interested in. They didn't send this out last week, so we kind of made our own, which was sent out with the email that went out to everybody. Most of our stuff pretty well aligned with what they sent out, so I guess gold star to us for getting the right stuff. We've been taking stances last week and then this week on certain bills, so I don't know if you want me to like break this down like bill by bill, or I can try to zoom in if you just want to like read this over as well.
Okay.
But, essentially, most of these are just either concerning building renovations or mainly money things for the most part. Not a whole lot of policies really being introduced last year.
Okay. Is there any policies being?
So, not so much policy, but one big one that Student Senate here is focused on, along with the South Dakota Student Federation, which is just all the other student senates of the other 5 DOR schools, is House Bill 1079. I don't think I pulled that up. Do you know how to pull that up? Anyway, so that is focusing on mental health resources for students here in South Dakota. We did a survey, I'm not sure if we pulled it out last semester, just kind of gauging how students feel about the mental health resources here on campus. Are they comfortable? Do they think they're adequate? Things like that. And the data came back pretty consistent with all the other regional schools that had the survey sent out, that there's a lot of improvement that could be made. For example, at SDSU, their entire counseling department was booked by the second week of their semester last fall. So it's like, clearly things need to improve to help students on campus. So right now there's a bill that dropped, I think it was last Friday, House Bill 1079. That would appropriate money for certain resources to help with suicide prevention, to help gather data, and just make it more accessible for students on all Regentful campuses. It's intentionally a little bit vague, and the money value on it, which is $4 million right now, will probably fluctuate. But so far, it seems to be pretty well supported from what I've been told. So, yeah. So that's kind of like the big thing that we're going to be lobbying for when we're show next week. Just trying to get that passed. So,
Alright, thanks.
of course. There's other things on here, I guess, with the mineral industry building. Just because of inflation, we need more money for inflationary costs. That
The new one that came bill?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Alright.
because all other buildings being built across the state, money is tight for everybody. Inflation, a window might be doubled in cost now compared to what it was when it was projected, a year or so ago. So there's 3 buildings that have been greenlit by the governor's office, and that building is one of them to get additional funding. So. No. Any other senators have anything that they want to bring up, I guess, for those you may or may not be passionate about?
I feel like most of the ones that we are taking stands with for Senate are kind of no-brainers.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously like, yes, money needs to be dedicated to businesses, or it's not businesses, buildings. It's all kind of stuff that is appropriate.
Ones we will be looking at this week, 2 there's 2 or 3 bills I think I've seen now drop on like grocery, like food sales tax here in South Dakota. Some of the bills seek to eliminate it altogether. Some seek to reduce it.
Grocery in food sales tax?
Yeah, because in South Dakota we have that. Some states don't have that. So that was kind of brought up during past sessions as well as during the governor race this past fall. That it's kind of a contentious thing. It's like people want to see that be eliminated or at least reduced due to inflation. When you do look at eggs, they're $8 a dozen, stuff like that. So that's one thing that we might be taking a stance on, just because sure it isn't higher education related, but we know that there's a lot of food insecure students. Students don't make full-time salaries, so this does impact students.
Okay,
So we'll be bringing that up this week. I think there's 2 or 3 different bills. So
how much, that's a state thing, not necessarily something from the schools, right?
correct.
Okay, so how much, like, power over that is just the school system, the public school system have?
So we don't have any power, but our job is to lobby on behalf of the students here. So it's like, that's why we're having this open forum. If people are very against or very for certain bill, we'll go lobby in your favor, essentially. We're here to represent you at the state level. That doesn't mean that representatives may or may not listen to us. Hopefully they will, but we're at least going to do our best to get your voices heard. So, yeah.
I say no taxes.
Yeah, great. If only.
Dean Jones.
So related to that topic,
Yeah.
I got some data from a survey that about 565 students participated in November here at the American College Health Association. And one of the questions was, the food that I bought just didn't last, and I didn't have money to get more. 33% of our students said sometimes true. So think about that, like 20 to 33% of our students may be facing that food insecurity you talked about.
For sure. That's really important, especially with costs keep going up. I mean, even me, I'm in a house of 5 people and it's pretty cheap, but it's still expensive for groceries. So if you're on your own, that's even worse. So yeah.
I have a question about HJR 5001
Yes.
on voting and also SB 55. What is the significance of that to students? Is that that one?
Yes. So essentially, I'm not sure how it works in every other state, but here in South Dakota at least, citizens, they get enough signatures on a petition, they can file to have a constitutional amendment added or have a certain law passed or something along those lines. However, this would seek to limit how frequently you can do that. So if you can't do it like back-to-back elections, you need to have a separate election in between filing for a similar topic. One that comes to mind in South Dakota is recreational marijuana. That was voted on in 2018. It passed. It was shut down by the South Dakota Supreme Court for being unconstitutional. So then it came back in the 2022 election, voted on, failed. More than likely it's going to be brought up again in the next general election. But this would essentially just seek to limit, you wouldn't be able to do it in the next election, but the one afterwards to kind of put a buffer for similar topic things. We already took a stance on this saying we didn't support this as a Senate, just because that seems to kind of reduce the will or the power of the people. But if you have any concerns with that, we'd be glad to take those into consideration as well.
And what is the stance on SB 55?
Further
On racial voting.
So we tabled that for this week. So if you have any opinions on that, we're glad to hear that and take that into our consideration for this week's vote. So good advice for ranked choice voting.
I guess, does anyone have anything else that they want to talk about? Any other specific bills that they have questions on? Any other senators have input on anything they want to talk about now?
Do we have anybody on the stream?
We have one person.
Oh, does the one person on the stream have any questions?
I'll say something in the chat.
Another thing, I guess, to take into consideration with the way we'll be voting is there are certain bills on here concerning like building projects on, particularly I guess SDSC, they have 2 building projects that we'll be going through. Although it doesn't one of them doesn't impact us, the other does, the Agro building, because we'll be joined with some of our topics for that. But for the most part, those other buildings don't concern us a whole lot, just because what's another building on a different campus going to benefit us necessarily. But in solidarity with other universities, we'll vote the way that that university, that host university votes when it comes to Student Federation, which is just all the other universities together and our student senate.
So, has there been any update with what BH has said about the Center for American Exceptionalism?
So I was speaking with a couple of their president and vice president for their student senate. They don't think it'll pass, but I think it'll be good to talk to them about it tomorrow night for dinner with them together before we take a stance officially. Things change. So that's the latest I know here, that they're not very confident in it. So yeah.
So last week we tabled the stance on HB 1044. Do we have any new information on what that means for us? The one about scholarships for individuals entering behavioral health.
I called Redfield's office today, and I left a couple questions for her about like if we were brought up on that last week. She hasn't answered me yet, but hopefully within the next week she'll give me the answer. I asked, I can call back tomorrow if you have any additional questions. Basically what I asked was how the money is going to be appropriated, so like how for the what kind of scholarships are going to be, and then like what majors are going to be affected. Those are the two questions I have left here.
More than likely, I'm guessing we might not hear back. So in that case, we'll just have to take more of a probably good faith vote as a Senate on this. More so, does this seek to benefit people with, we may not know all the details, but overall, does it seek to benefit people? Yes, no, vote based on that. So again, some bills are left intentionally vague for actual reasons, just to leave wiggle room. So that might be intentionally vague. I'm not entirely sure. So, but hopefully we do hear back from the sponsor's office on that.
I have a question regarding SB 45.
For sure.
Where can I find the annual reports from the past? That's kind of unrelated.
That's a really good question.
What do they contain? What is it?
Dean Joe, would you know?
Tell me what 45 is.
So that's what the BOR, like the intellectual diversity, like that huge report that we have each year. Yeah.
I don't know. So each institution files their own individual one, and then it gets passed out to the board of regents. And I think they do one total report that they send to the legislators. I'm not sure that they have those published on their website. I could easily get you the narrative that I have to write each year, at 2.5 pages for our campus. It highlights, things that basically verify we're not limiting speech from any student organization or any student on campus. And we're not a huge political activism campus, but if we have Young Americans of Liberty who wants a speaker, we can list that. College Democrats does some sort of program, we can list that. So I don't know where the final product sits.
Was someone going to ask about that? Was it Senator List that was going to ask them about that?
Yeah, so we're currently working with the people here who compile that data to kind of ask about that. Hopefully we hear something before this Wednesday's vote. But I think one of the reasons why this is being brought up as a bill to get rid of it is because it is, nobody really knows the whole lot about it. It's kind of a nebulous thing, not sure what to access it, who really does it. So I think that might be one of the reasons why it's being brought up. It just seems like a lot of paperwork for paperwork's sake.
Right.
Is the way that the Board of Regents described it to, at least last week, when Regent Partridge came to speak to us. So,
is there any concern that getting rid of the report could potentially lead to less transparency in that regard?
I guess I don't have a good answer for that, but my answer is if nobody's reading this, then what difference is it going to make? But that is a good question that I hope to find a better answer to. I guess for upcoming legislation that isn't listed here now, one contentious issue is back in January, November, SDSU had a drag show. There's one of their student organizations had a drag show on campus, which was protected underneath the student organization rights to do things like that. However, it had a lot of public backlash, and at the December Board of Regents meeting, there was a lot of public outcry that we need to limit this, stuff like that. So currently there's a moratorium on minors on campus. Only certain organizations can be allowed to have minors on campus. That has to go through the Board of Regents. So, like, what's your student org?
Campus Kids.
Campus Kids. There has to be special provisions put in place through the Board of Regents to ensure stuff like that. There's no legislation with actual official policy being drafted or being sent down yet, and I don't expect there to be by the time we vote this week. But Student Federation will probably go and lobby once policy is actually put in place for this. So that will be later in the semester, but I will make sure. I'm the vice president of the Student Federation, but I'll make sure to get that information out to you guys as soon and as transparent as possible. There's just nothing to report on that yet. So, but I know that's a very contentious issue with all residential schools right now, because there's a lot of student organizations that rely on, helping out kids from the community and things like that, that currently are kind of facing some issues with some backlash because of this new moratorium. So.
Yeah, I can give a quick update on that. So I think we'll probably see that policy in about March.
Okay.
So yeah, well past when you guys can make stances. But I'm not getting any reason. I don't have any reason to believe that it's going to try to limit who or how we invite people to campus. I think it's going to just give some guidelines. Mm-hmm. Here's the proper way to market this type of program. Here's an optional rating system. Right? If any of you attended the Maddie, you were in the production in the fall, the drama production. They put on their flyer 16 and up recommended. Right? There's just some swearing and sex scene that I didn't know about. I was like, where do I look? Yeah. So, like an optional rating system.
For sure.
Like so I don't think it's going to be limiting, restrictive.
Okay.
Or just giving more guidance.
That's really reassuring to hear. Just because I know there's been a lot of worries about that. I guess South Dakota Mines, we do a pretty good job with that kind of stuff already. For the most part, like we are on the pamphlets you might have seen for this, it's marked with like not university endorsed event. This is student organization. Other BOR institutes don't do that, as far as I know. I've talked to a couple essay presidents from other universities, and they don't do that. So that's kind of where the issue came from in the first place, my understanding. That it was believed to be university sponsored, not student organization sponsored. So that's why clearing up and having better policies in place would be for the best.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of curious about kind of what the student body feels about taking stances on bills related more to science in our state as a whole, or like industry as a whole, that may not be directly affecting the BOR, but may be affecting the industries that we're going into. Because I was interested in bringing up House Bill 1072, which classifies lithium and pegmatite as energy minerals to be subject to severance tax. And
not to cut you off, but I'll pull it up here. If you guys are interested in like how to get to like the bills that are being introduced this session, just look up SCLRC, the Legislative Research Council for South Dakota. You go to the homepage, if it'll load from here. Let's see. There we go. Not sure what 2021 is. Yeah. It'll say 2023 bills, and then there we go. Then you can go look. You can also sign up for an account and have notifications dropped to you, emailed to you, like if a bill passes committee, or if it fails, or if it gets amended, stuff like that. What was that, 1072 you said?
1072. So it classifies it as energy minerals, but it also does make a specific exception for the taxable value of lithium and pegmatite. And kind of denoting that 80% of that value for lithium-bearing materials stay in the county for taxes and 20% of the state. Which, if I'm kind of understanding this correctly, is kind of wanting to, because I know that there's some lithium exploration currently going on in the Black Hills, and they're looking at maybe trying to start a mine with pegmatite. And it seems like this bill is going to be trying to incentivize that for the various counties that this is in. So it's like that one, as well as like Senate Concurrent Resolution 601, which is interim legislative committee on nuclear power in South Dakota, which obviously does play a pretty big role in the state. But actually, you give another aspect for say physics majors or for materials or chemical engineers. But
what are your guys' thoughts? Would you want us to start expanding on that kind of stuff? That since we're definitely STEM school, anything STEM related to these bills, would you want us to also take stances on? Granted, it might not directly impact higher education, but it will definitely indirectly impact it. I guess there's one we've already taken a stance on is to grant the Stanford Underground Research Facility $13 million for more excavation with the Dune project that's going on. That isn't necessarily higher education related, but me, for example, I work there for my research. So indirectly impacts us. It might not be specifically higher education policy, but it definitely does have impact. So what will the two students here, what would your thoughts be? Three, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I guess it's two.
I think it'd be great if you guys just like published it at least. I think that's reasonable for the Senate to take stances on these issues because they do affect the school, and it's not just like some personal thing. I mean, it affects a lot of people in the school. It'd be helpful, I guess, for the Senate to just make sure that, or not necessarily, people's responsibility you have to figure it out too. But it'd be nice if you guys could, just say, hey, we're taking a stance, and people would want to like give feedback or something like this is perfect.
Because we've been sending out, Cody's been sending out the bill tracker every week. You'll be sending one out probably tomorrow, saying how we voted last week, what we'll be voting on this week, stuff like that. So, and I know we're gonna have like a small footnote at the bottom, kind of explaining a few things like what declared emergency is in the bill. That it's not an actual emergency, just it means to give the money immediately when the bill is passed, not wait for the next fiscal year. So we hope to clarify a few of those things with the reports we give out, but any feedback is great. So, yeah. Did the online person?
No, we've had three people come through, but
oh, awesome.
Nobody said anything in the chat when I asked if anyone had questions.
Okay. I guess this is the list of bills that the Student Federation is currently looking at. I'm sure it'll expand more. We'll be taking official stances this coming Sunday at the Student Federation meeting, which is actually physically here. So we'll all be putting bright shining faces there. The ones that are bolded, those are ones that we don't have on our consent agenda. The rest we've already put on a consent agenda to make voting faster. That as long as nobody has any objections, we will pass those in favor of. But those four there, those are the ones that we actually want to have a discussion about, talk about, kind of get into the nitty gritty about. As you can see, sure we all will probably support 1079, that mental health one that I was discussing earlier, but we want to discuss more in detail how we'll achieve our goals as a student federation. So we've been working on this since June, trying to get some legislation, some policy enacted, some hopefully resources. So that one we really want to bring up. So the others are a little bit more controversial, or at least good discussion points. That's why those are not on the consent agenda. But this can be sent out as well. This is just an unofficial, not done yet, draft. But if you guys would like to see this, you can have it sent out. So.
Do you have any other questions for anyone or comments? Anything not related to bills also, if you just have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the goal with the expansion of the Stanford Underground Research Facility?
For sure. So, with the current Dune, the deep underground neutrino experiment that they're doing, they're excavating a large amount of rock. And the idea is, since they're excavating so much more, why not add a little bit more onto the project so that you can have two other, what they call caverns of opportunity, to put even more experiments in line with it. This would essentially just expand the lab space, give more research opportunities for the area, for the region, for students here. It's just excavating is expensive, so.
Okay. It's just purely for like the benefit of Stanford and people who decide you don't get into it.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Then it helps with making it a more enticing place to put new experiments. Say in the next 15, 20 years, when some of the experiments now are done, they've been used. What do we want to put there in the future? Type thing. And this isn't the only funding source for SURF either. They're governed by the SDSTA, or South Dakota Space and Technology Association, as well as the Department of Energy. So they're getting a lot of other funding spots, but it's good to spread it out. And that's why the legislature is kicking a little bit of money, or at least will hopefully kicking some money with this bill. So
Yeah. And you said you work there, right?
I do. I work on the Myrona demonstrator.
All right.
So
Someone told me that they researched looking for dark matter. Is that true?
yeah, so that's with the LZ or the Lux Zeppelin detector. That's right down the hall from me. So
Okay.
yeah.
Have they found it?
As far as I know, I don't work on the experiment, so I don't get all the secret details. But as far as I know so far, no. But they have put world record-breaking limits on what dark matter constraints, like what the mass of it could be, or where they could find it in like a mass range. So it's the best in the world. They just haven't found anything, to my knowledge, yet. But it's also useful knowledge to not find something. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dune is the next big mega project in the United States. I don't know if you've heard of the superconducting super collider that was supposed to happen in Texas, but it failed, and now we have the Large Hadron Collider over in Europe. So this will hopefully bring big science to the area. So yeah. Yeah, so Dune is split up in here and then at Fermilab as well. So neutrino beam will come from Fermilab, hit Dune, and we'll see all the cool data from it. So yeah. I like how this shifted from legislature to science. But
It's only a matter of time.
exactly. I mean, we are here at South Dakota Mines for a reason. So yeah.
What I'm interested if there was like an amendment to like board policy, like how would that happen? If like I were interested in promoting an amendment, like I would get like students to sign a petition or like
To the Board of Regents, you mean?
yeah, like some board policy.
Oh, that I don't know for sure about. So if you want to, so technically the Board of Regents is given its power through the South Dakota State Constitution. If you want to change something about the Board of Regents, more than likely you have to change it through either the South Dakota State Constitution, which that's what those initiative measures are for, that I discussed in, I forget which one it was, I think it was. Anyway, it was one of those bills that we discussed earlier. Or, you know, be a member of the Board of Regents and try to change the policy yourself. So, to actually get a bill through the South Dakota State Legislature, anybody can technically do it, but you need sponsor from the South Dakota Legislature. So that's how Student Federation, that's how we've been working to get House Bill 1079 for the mental health. We can't make our own legislation, but we can work with legislators to make legislation for us, in a sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you wanted to change something in the Board of Regents, get involved, yeah, you know, join Student Senate, Student Federation, try to work your way up the ladder. So. Anything else? Do you have anything you want to mention about what's happening this week at all, Cody?
I mean, I guess just other than taking standards again this week, beginning bill tracker out tomorrow, probably by the afternoon. We will be, taking stances on Wednesday and actually getting a resolution out to give those stances weight. So, catch anything on there, feel like, make sure to send an email to your representatives or myself. Because when we hit here, we're there for 3 days. All right, so we have 2 days at SHED, Students for Higher Education Day, where we're in the Rotunda, we're in the Capitol, we're lobbying for this legislation that we're taking stances on. Obviously on SHED, we're really prioritizing the big hitters, but each institution's open to talk about other bills that they feel strongly for. We're also there for Mines Day that Tuesday, right, so the 31st. So we're there a whole nother day of lobbying as well, just for Mines Day. So if there's anything out of there that you think we should, I guess also respond. What should we? It's one thing to say what stance we should be taking on these bills, but it's another thing to say what should our priorities be going into the legislature. Right? What should we be focusing on when we go talk to the legislators? So that's something to get some thought to as well. Okay.
I guess different student boards will also be there on Wednesday at the Capitol. I know Society of Physics students will be there. In the past, ACS has been there. So it's more of a general, just like focus on Mines Day kind of thing, more so than for lobbying. Some of us will be lobbying though, all 3 days, but others will just be promoting kind of student senate itself or other organizations. So I think there's 6 of us with lobbying passes, so we'll actually be able to go on the floor of like the House and Senate and actually talk to legislators one-on-one. We'll be going to committee meetings, talking to them, giving testimonies during committee meetings, things of that sort. So we'll be engaging one-on-one with actual legislators. Hopefully it works out pretty well in our favor. So.
Anything controversial about SCU too?
Oh, no. Hope not.
Oh, no, yeah.
I hope not. This is just a congratulate. It has no merit or anything. It's, well, not merit, but like
Yeah,
no power.
it's
It's just,
commemorative.
yeah, it's just like, hey, good job SDSU. You did a big win in football. Yeah. So it's nothing controversial. So yeah, and this list with Student Federation, that will probably expand, be changed, but I will send them as it is. So. Anything else at all? Or if we bored you enough? Well, thank you all for coming. Definitely appreciate it. Anything else from our online?
No, everyone's kind of, our 3-year stepped out.
Oh, okay. Well, I was hoping maybe we'd get one.
I know, that'd
there,
be
but-
great.
Yeah.
But no.
But yeah, feel free to reach out to us at any point, either your, class senators or Cody, the president, you, the vice president, just whoever. Any questions, comments, anything. Keep an eye on the bill tracker that we send out in our official stances. If it really gets to let us know, and we might, change. Besides that, thank you again for coming.
Good job, guys. Thank you.